Baruch Hashem, B'siyata Deshmaya, we're back at the Limud of Sefer Yirat HaShem. Today is the 12th of the month of Tishrei. Monday, the second day of the week of Parashat Shabbat, Shabbat Chol HaMoed Sukkot. B'ezrat Hashem, B'siyata Deshmaya. Right after Yom Tov is Shabbat Chol HaMoed. People shouldn't make a mistake thinking it's Yom Tov. Sometimes a lot of people make a mistake thinking that it's a continuation of the Yom Tov. We would love to have 3 days Yom Tov, but it's not. It's Shabbat, okay. Shabbat Chol HaMoed. Now, so last week we discussed the concept of Hagar escaping from Sarai Imenu, and we had 4 questions. And now, as we're going to the 4 questions that we asked, we're continuing and trying to resolve the situation. So here in Sefer Yirat HaShem, from Moshe Amber, discusses התירוץ לארבע קושיות אלו יובן בסייעתא דשמיא במה שנקדים לבאר על מה שכתוב במשה רבנו עליו השלום. In order to understand the four answers to those 4 questions, and we'll repeat them right now, but obviously we're continuing from last time, so it's not worth to repeat the questions when we're going to be actually answering each question, and we'll mention it again. So he says we're going to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu first something, and then we'll understand better the situation. Moshe ben 120 shana bemoto. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu died at 120 years. Lo keheta eno. His eyes were not dimmed, were not weakened. So basically, at 120, Moshe Rabbeinu his face looked like a 17, 18-year-old boy. Lo kehetai eno. It says over there, his eyes did not become like old age. Your eyes are weak or dark, or you could see less. But his eyes were sharp as an eagle. V'lama lo katuv einav b'lashon rabim. The question is, the Torah obviously relates when the Torah tells us his eyes, but the problem is it's not saying his eyes, it says his eye in singular. It did not say eyes with the S. Budara, it's just the eye. So the rabbi says, why didn't it, we know that it means his eyes, none of his eyes were, were deemed or became blurry. He was a straight vision of both. So the question is, why not say in the language of in plural? As don't we know that every human being has 2 eyes? That's what the rabbi is explaining. אלא כי כאן יש רמז שהקדוש ברוך הוא בורא לאדם 2 עיניים לרמוז שיסתכל האדם בשני מיני ההסתכלויות. The reason why Hashem, question is a very simple question. It's a very nice question. Why in the world do we need 2 eyes? 1 eye should be enough. Right? So no. The reason is that Hashem gave us 2 eyes to have the way that we are looking at things from 2 perspectives. אחד, בשפלותו של האדם עצמו, that everything that you should be looking at in its own visual, שנייה ברוממותו יתברך. So in one aspect that you see in the physical aspects in this world with your 1 eye, and the other thing that you should be constantly paying attention with your eyes should be designated to see the greatness of Hashem. ההסתכלות הראשונה שבשפלותו של אדם, when the rabbi says when we are here to look at the physical aspects of a human being, okay, שנייה ברוממותו יתברך, and the second one it's talking about ההסתכלות בשפלותו של אדם רומזת לעין שמאל. So when we're looking at the physical aspects of this world and the human being, it's from the left eye. ועליה אמר התנא, and on that, the Tana in Pirkei Avot, in chapter 3, Mishnah 1 says, הסתכל בשלושה דברים ואין אתה בא לידי עבירה. Look at 3 things or 3 ideas, and you'll never come into doing a sin. What are the 3 things that you're supposed to pay attention? It says over there, da me'ayin bata, know from where you came from. ולאן אתה הולך and where you are going, ולפני מי אתה עתיד לתת דין וחשבון. And before who are you going to give an accounting? ואלו הן שבין אדם לחברו. So all those 3 aspects are, we know over there, the rabbis explained, it's talking about between friends and men to men. Well, so that means what we said, me'ayin bata, why are we saying to you from where you come from? I don't understand. How does that have to do with my friend? Yes. Because most of the people today, when they become Ba'ale Gavtanaim, when they become haughty on people, is because they're thinking, I came from A, B, C. You know where you came from? You came from the same despicable, disgusting. If somebody puts in front of you on a piece of paper where you came from, you will throw up in the middle of your meal for sure. No? Zohar. Yeah, the most despicable thing, the most mastriach, anybody gets look at it like what a spot of sperm. Ugh, yeah, that's where you came from, Habibi. This is what you are. What you oh, your nose is up. No matter how rich you are, you Mr. Bill Gates' son, or Mr. Trump's son, or Mr. Levi Levi's son. I don't understand what's the difference. Mr. Levi Levi's son, Bill Gates or Trump, or the poorest person in some world over there in some China, people that live 50 people in one little boat with one room. They came from the same sperm, Habibi. Same sperm, same kind of sperm. There's no difference. And in the end, where everybody goes, you want to be haughty about a person, you want to say you're bigger than somebody. Habibi, when everybody dies, Mr. Bill Gates, with all his wealth, with all his control, freakness, and this guy's a nutcase, he thinks he's going to fix the whole world. In the end, what? There were people before him, much greater than him, Abu Khatser, Napoleon, go into a list of all the great scholars who had great ideas. They're all dead. They're all trying to outsmart HaShem, and they're all in the same place. The richest men in the world and the poorest men in the world end up in the same place. It's all the earth. Just one place is the earth from China, or earth from India, and earth from America. Same thing. And everybody is going to give an accounting. Even Mr. Bill Gates, even the Chinese person. Everybody will be asked the question, what did you do? And each one will have to answer, why did I do what I did? So the Rabbi says, before you start being a little bit over the head of your friend, you have to know that there's three questions. So that's what a person constantly has to pay attention from his left eye. Knowing, meaning the left side. It's not really meaning the left eye. You have two eyes, right? So he's explaining to you, the left one is looking for this kind of tendency. You have to be very attention, that you be careful with people. ואומנם על הסתכלות השנייה שהיא ברוממות התברך היא מתייחסת לעין ימנית. However, the right side, as we know, that's the Eitzer Tov over there on that side. So that is to pay attention, to elevate yourself in the holiness before Hashem. ועליה נאמר שלושה הסתכלות אחרות. And on that, there is other three, opposite of this eye, there are three different aspects that you're supposed to pay attention. It's written down in another place in Pirkei Avot, chapter 2, Mishnah Aleph. והסתכל בשלושה דברים ואין אתה בא לידי עבירה. Okay? Now, also, you could look in the three different things in that chapter, in that Mishnah. It says that you're also not going to do Avera. What? Da ma lemala mimcha. Know what is above you. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ayin ro'ah ve'ozen shamat. Hashem sees and He hears. V'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim. And everything is written. All your actions are written. Shlosha elu hem ben adam lechal makom. And we know the three things corresponding. So we have in the eyes. On the left side, you have corresponding the behavior between us and men. On the right side is corresponding behavior between us and Hashem. Shehem b'yerumimuto itbarach, and that's our constant what the person should be paying attention to, meaning use his eyes for. Even though we think that eyes is all about looking, no. They're both hinting for your brain to analyze an aspect. The analyzation is on the left that there is a concept of how our behavior comes between us and our friends, and then our behavior between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. ונמצא שבכל עין יש רמז לשלוש הסתכלויות. So we see from here that the eyes have a hint to three different ways of analyzing everything before us. שבין אדם לחברו ונרמזת בעין שמאלית, that we know that the behavior between people, our interactions with other people, is from the element of the left eye. מורה על הסתכלות האדם בשפלות עצמו הוא ולא בשפלות חברו, והיא בשלושה אופנים. Okay, a person should not be looking at the shortcomings of your friend, but you should be looking at the shortcomings of yourself. As we know that Adam posel bemumo posel. We have a rule in the Torah that we only disqualify of other behaviors if that we have in ourselves. Meaning, I could only identify, right? How do I know the person is misbehaving? Because I know what this misbehavior is, because I do it. And the reason why I attack him is because there's nobody to attack me. How can I attack myself? I love myself. I'm not going to degrade myself. So when I see another person misbehaving in the same aspect that I'm missing, that I have difficulties observing, therefore I attack him, right? I attack him. For instance, when a person is not an evil person, you're not a bad person, and you see somebody is doing something, Habibi, what are you going to do about it? You can't. You see a person b'chalal Shabbat, for instance, right? Baruch Hashem, you're far away from Chilul Shabbat. It hurts you that he's Mechalel Shabbat, but you're not going to start yelling and screaming at him. Most of the people who are yelling and screaming at him, usually they have some kind of deficiency in Shabbat also. That's what the rabbi said. We have a mitzvah to give tochecha. Well, we already discussed that doesn't apply to this generation. And tochecha, giving musar, is not something that should be taken lightly at all. As we learned already last week, Sarai Imenu did a mitzvah, right? She did a mitzvah. She separated Ishmael from her family, that Yitzchak should be holy and should not get affected by Ishmael. And in the end, she lost 50 years of her life. At least 50 years of her life, right? As we learned. She did not live through all her life that she's supposed to. She was doing a mitzvah. We have also in the Torah, another person who did a mitzvah. The famous mitzvah of a lady. Her name is Pnina. Pnina was also doing a mitzvah. L'shem Shamayim itkavna. She did it L'shem Shamayim. She was badgering Hannah constantly, to make Hannah go out of her way and daven and, break her with her prayers, break the heavens. And she did. And she succeeded. Pnina succeeded breaking Hannah's heart, and therefore she elevated herself higher and higher. And she got for us Shmuel HaNavi, talking about a giant, giants, bigger than Moshe Rabbeinu and Aharon together. And yet, the Torah tells us Pnina lost 10 children. She got a punishment for it. So people today are so eager to do a mitzvah.
That's usually the hardest thing to understand. When you see someone, like I'm saying, when people have questions in emunah, bitachon, and they say, from this one came, but then this one got punished because they did this and they did that.
That's right. Because Hashem doesn't know anybody anything. But Hashem has zero tolerance for hurting people. Zero tolerance. Even the Shem Shamayim. Even the Shem Shamayim. Hashem says you can't be hurting people. Look at the pasuk. It says, "Choch tochiach et amitecha." You must give rebuke. Ve'at tisa alav he, ve'lo tisa alav he. Do not be very cautious. Be very, very cautious. That's why I tell everybody. All those Chafetz Chaim books, Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation books, throw them to the garbage. They don't belong in Jewish houses. All those books. Why? Because they missed the point. They missed the boat. Look at Chafetz Chaim. He's so meticulous. He's so careful. He says, what are you talking about? Giving musar? Or talking Lashon Hara? Today, everybody put on the silver gloves. I'm allowed to everybody learn from Chafetz Chaim, and even I did. I was mistaken. In my youth, Chafetz Chaim books, wow, amazing. You have to give musar with a silk glove, with a nice, pull the person to the side, and if yeshiva calls you to ask you about a certain child or a girl, you could answer, truth. The child is not a Beis Yaakov girl. You could say it. Who do you think you are? Who you think you are that you have decided such a question to be answered by you, Bichlal? And they go to the Rabbanim, Can I open my mouth? Yeah, of course. Chafetz Chaim says you're allowed to. What? Who you think you are? I have 19-year-old girls, the little spendels. We're teachers of 12, 11-year-old girls. They're getting phone calls for a high school reference. They answer openly. Answer openly. That is not a Beis Yaakov girl. Who do you think you are to open your mouth? But the Chafetz Chaim says I have to warn. What? Go learn Chafetz Chaim again. You have no mitzvah to warn. Zero. It's actually an Aveira. Rabbi Victor Miller said clearly, do not call me for any reference. I don't want to talk Lashon Hara. Finish. Gedol Ador speaking like this. Who are we, Bichlal?
Rabbi, but how? 1 second. So I'm trying to understand something. I'm not like I haven't really learned Chafetz Chaim, but I'm saying like in general, sometimes there could be bad kids, right?
Habibi.
Maybe they're coming from a bad house. Maybe they're coming.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be that to put a target on your head. You're right. It could be. Whatever. Let others decide. Rosh Katan, in Hebrew.
Somebody called me yesterday.
Yes.
Somebody called me yesterday.
Okay.
They asked about the school where my kids go. My kids go to BMA.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I was telling him, and he's an educator. I think he works at the.
Well, let's not mention names because we're in the video. Let's not mention names.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying he works. He's a friend. Happens to be. I started doing tshuva. I was learning Hebrew with his wife back in a long time ago. When I was 23 or whatever. What I'm saying is that I was telling him, and I'm like, listen. I'm like, for me, number one, the Torah is very important, extremely important. I said, but behavior, the midot of a person, are very important as well. If I see kids from all sorts of schools, I cannot judge the school by the behavior of certain kids. But it also has to fit me. I told him, I said, I don't know if you're in the same. I said, you're on a much higher level than I am. Like, he's also about tshuva, but like, it's different. I told him, I said, for me it works. I said, Baruch Hashem, they're learning Torah. I said, I'm not the only one to make decisions. So you have to pick and choose. Do you fight with your wife? And to the point where you're gonna have to get divorced, or chas v'shalom.
Nah, I mean we're not holding by that level anyway. Again, the best thing is when you could avoid the questions about what's his name, and you could avoid this kind of questions, avoid them at every cost. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be the one that bears or chas v'shalom damaging somebody. We don't need to be part of it. That's again. There's a lot.
Like for example, I didn't know how to answer. I said, listen, my kids only went to the school. I haven't been to. I've gone to other schools or whatever. I told them when my kids went to New York. I said, in New York, my kids went definitely to a former school. But I said at the same time, I said I need to be myself at the right level for me to be, like if I'm not at a certain level, I feel like my kids might not fit in, and if there's different, it's a very difficult subject to discuss. Like, so I told him, I said, I don't know how to answer you, but...
That's it, fine. Remember, I told you, our goal is weasel your way out of the answer many times. Most important thing in the world to learn how to not answer every question and how to weasel out of it. If you don't need to. If somebody's going to get hurt from my talk, why should I be talking?
Yeah.
The Eitzer Hara says, but what, are you going to save him from losing money? Habibi, it's not up to you. You could advise, like somebody asks me, can I give a loan for this person? I said, yeah, of course you could give a loan. You should give a loan because it's a Torah obligates you to give a loan. But make sure you take a collateral. Make sure you have 2 witnesses to guarantee. not witnesses, 2 guarantors. On the spot, Habibi. That's my answer to everybody. Can I trust this guy? Can I go work for this guy? Habibi, if this guy has a bad history of paying his employees, okay, you have to be very careful. Make sure that you get paid daily. Let's say if I know the guy doesn't pay workers good, don't work second day until you get paid the first day. Finished. This guy, it's not Avera. Habibi, it's not an Avera to tell the truth. If you were a goy, I know people who pay goyim right away. A Jew, they take advantage because the Jew is not going to break his house. A goy is going to come break his, flat his tires. He's afraid of him. A Jew, who cares? So, in that instance, I say, Habibi, if you want to work for this guy, you have no choice, you're stuck. Make sure he pays you daily. There's other ways. There's many ways to answer each question individually. There's no general rule. There is no general rule about Lashon Hara at all. The only general rule that Chafetz Chaim says that this Heritage Foundation missed, the most important rule, which Heritage Foundation does not teach. That's why I hate this whole idea of what their books are. They're thinking they're promoting Chafetz Chaim. They're actually stabbing Chafetz Chaim. They killed Chafetz Chaim, and they killed thousands of people right now, if not millions already, with their Torah, with their knowledge, with their education of falsehood. The truth of Chafetz Chaim is, you must know the person loves you. And the person that you're giving Musar has to know you love him. Not you say you love everybody. He has to know you love him. Only then the Musar will work. Only then you're allowed to give somebody a tochecha and to perfect them. But till then, forget about it. Today we have nobody loving anybody. Please do me a favor. Parents love their children. Children love their parents. Come on. Let's get out of our cloud. We are dreaming clouds. Okay, let's just finish off over here. ועכשיו בדיבור מעשה, ולכן אמרו בלשון נוכח ולא בלשון נסתר, א' מאין ביתה. Okay, tomorrow we're going to more discuss, I guess, more into this, okay, into this element. Hopefully he will break down for us this whole Mishnah, the Mishnayot, how to actually behave in this, how to review everything with the left eye, from the left side on the humans, and on the right side, how to interact and how to put the real practice, those 2 Mishnayot, in Pirkei Avot. Everybody loves Pirkei Avot, but there is a practice, actual how to fulfill those 2 Mishnayot. Bezrat Hashem, hopefully we'll go deeper in tomorrow. Baruch Adonai Olam Amenu. Let's do halacha next video. Okay.